We're going to start talking about adjectives. We're going to go over some basic notes that you should have, you should know, things I don't want to go over or in midway through the year. You should definitely know what adjectives are, right, and how to use them. So basically we like to use the word modify, all right, a noun or a pronoun. And we say that modify means to change. Describe is fine, but we're going to use that word modify a lot more. We want you to modify your writing to make it more descriptive. Adjectives answers one of the following 4 questions. All right? One of the following 4 questions of what kind. It's not just a house, it's that old house. Which one? It's not a hat, it's this hat. Call those demonstrative. All right, descriptive, demonstrative, and then we have how many? Many dogs. All right, and definite. All right, you don't know the exact amount, but there's many of them. How much? A little snow. So they'll answer those 4 questions of how much, how many, which one, and what kind. They really put it into the reader's mind of those 4 questions. So we look at 2 animals, all right? Probably a little longer than it should go. But you have a bee, you know, it's flying around, buzzing. How would you compare the 2 animals? You have comparisons, you know, comparative adjectives.
The bumblebee is black and yellow and is very small compared to the big brown bear.
Okay, so you can use that. A comparative would be smaller, right? And then you always get in the case where you get in the antidote and oh my gosh, the bee is so much bigger. All right, so now it's not smaller, and then you have to move smaller around to the bear, right? And you have to flip it around and say, no, you're small, okay? Or no, you're small. All right. So those are comparatives. Comparatives are used to compare 2 things. You can use the sentences with than, or you can use a conjunction like but. Examples: Dave is taller than Bob. Johnny is tall, but Craig is taller. All right. Look at Bob's way he dresses. So you definitely can use, when you compare 2 things, all right, you can use sentences with than, or you can use a conjunction like but. But notice it's just 2, all right? There's no more than 2 when you use comparatives. So we're going to talk about more than 2 next. And now we're going to talk about superlatives. Okay? You see the word superlatives, almost like supers, you know. They're always used to compare more than 2 things. Okay? And usually because there's only 1 superlative. Okay? Like the best. So, start off with this. Mr. Benningfield is the coolest teacher. Okay? And your superlative would be coolest. Alright? Because it describes your teacher. And describes Mr. Benningfield. Okay? And you notice it has an ending of est, which you're going to find with most superlatives. Okay? Mrs. Stoneham is cool, and Mr. Oney is cooler, but Mr. Bedingfield is the coolest. Okay? So, let me show you how this works. You notice the same adjectives being used. You have an adjective, then this would be what? A comparative, right? Comparative adjective, because it compares Miss Stoneham and Mr. Oni. And then you have the EST, which is the superlative, right? That's the supreme. So when you compare Miss Stoneham and Mr. Oni to Mr. Benningfield, there's no context, right? Adjectives or adverbs, basically. And adverbs, all right, are words that you use to modify. And we see this again. We see modify as, you know, that change of another word. That change that we want. Modify a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. We're modifying. We want to modify our writing. Our writing has to become a change. All right. You know, Dad snores loudly. That's how my dad used to snore. All right. What do you think the adverb is in that sentence? Dad snores loudly. Loudly. Most adverbs are going to end in ly. All right. And they're going to modify the verb, even if it's not next to it. All right. His snores are really explosive. Boom. Explosive. What do you think? Is there an adverb in that one? Okay, you're gonna see really modifying explosive. They're not just explosive, they're really explosive. Dad snores very loudly. You're going to see very modified loudly, which modifies snores. Okay? He snores loudly, which modifies a verb, but he also modifies an adverb. Adverbs can modify other adverbs. Generally, you're going to see this as very modifying another adverb. All right? There's 4 types of adverbs. They answer the following 4 questions. How? They tell how something's done, how it happens. You know, we talked about loudly. One of my favorite songs right there. All right? They tell how something's done, and that's important. Okay? In your writing, you must tell. You must write and make the reader feel like they know exactly how something is done, like they have done something in their life. When? What time? Okay? Be descriptive. Know for how long. Adverbs will do that in your writing. Alright? Where? Answers questions of where to where, from here to there, or near to there. And I think I'm missing my 4th one. Oh, but there it is. Okay? What extent? Answers the question of how much or little. This seems like it was a little too much. Doesn't seem like it's going to quit anytime soon. That was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Alright? So, adverbs will answer that. To what extent? Answers the question of how much or how little. Very similar there. If you're using adjectives and adverbs in your writing, you're going to be very successful in pleasing your reader, making them feel like they were there. Alright? So one of the biggest misconceptions is that all ly endings are adverbs. However, many words and phrases not ending in ly serve an adverbial function, and ly ending is not guaranteed that the word is an adverb. Something to remember: lovely, lonely, motherly, and neighborly not always are going to be, the adjectives. They're going to be our adverbs. They're going to serve a different function. Okay. So, generally, just because you see an ly, 95% of the time you're going to be right. But there is that exception. Adverbs frequently ending in ly, but not always. All right? We're going to do that tomorrow. So that's a little lesson on adjectives and adverbs.